What is up, everyone? I have a lot of news for you today regarding a few games and a few new headsets, because there's some brand new headsets coming out from HTC, Pico, and we have info on new headsets from Oculus. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into the news. So, first of all, yesterday we had the Vivecon livestream, and a lot of people came out of it quite disappointed. I was disappointed, but I think I was disappointed for a different reason to many other people, because a lot of people went into Vivecon thinking that, hey, HTC might just release a headset that is going to compete with the Oculus Quest 2. I kind of went in with the expectations knowing that that wasn't really going to happen, and of course, it didn't. But we did get two new headsets, the HTC Vive Focus 3 and the HTC Vive Pro 2. And a lot of people are really hating on the Vive Pro 2 because not only is it more expensive than the Index, but it is also not what people wanted. Everyone is saying that it is ugly. I don't necessarily think it's too ugly. And multiple people are just saying, hey, they had some Vive Pros left over and they just like repainted them, redid them, slapped on some better displays. But here's the thing. It's actually an okay competitor to the Index. It's not standalone and it's not even wireless, but it does have higher spec, except for the refresh rate. The Vive Pro 2 has LCD panels, so they're not OLED, that are offering 2448 by 2448 per eye and 120 Hertz. So that's already better than the Index when it comes down to resolution. However, it is not better when it comes down to refresh rate, because the Index has that 144 Hertz mode that if your PC can pull it, it's there. However, you've got a 120 degrees field of view, and there's also a manual IPD adjustment, which is supposedly going to be very nice. It is, of course, base station tracked, so it is a headset that needs base stations, and it is compatible with all your other SteamVR accessories, such as Vive trackers, your Index controllers, your Vive wands, in case you're still using those. So you are actually completely good there in case you already have the headset. But the one that I was actually very excited for was the HTC Vive Focus 3, and that thing also has a resolution of 2448 by 2448 per eye. It also has a 120 degrees FOV, which is pretty nice. It only has a 90 Hertz display. I'm saying only, that's actually more than enough for most people. However, with the Oculus Quest 2 now having a 120 Hertz display, that is questionable. Comes with an XR2 chip, yeah, we kind of saw that one coming, and has controllers that sort of look like Oculus Touch controllers. The headset comes in at €1,400 or $1,300. Don't ask me how that works, that's currency conversion for you. And the Vive Pro 2 comes in at $799. Now, that is only the headset, nothing else. But it gets more interesting because the Vive Focus 3 is a business headset, and that's where I came out disappointed, because a lot of people would have actually paid €1,400 for that standalone headset. I know they would have. So look, we got to save our money. Instead, we bought a Quest 2 for Emma. So that's that there. We got that. It's people were saying it's really funny. Vivecon got you to buy a Quest 2. Yeah, that. But look, in case you want a more in-depth video, check out VR Oasis. He made a video on it yesterday before Vivecon even dropped. Okay, moving on to the next headset, we have the Pico Neo 3, which is more of an Oculus Quest 2 competitor, but a lot of people aren't going to get it because for the same reasons they're not getting the Oculus Quest 2, because they have Facebook and then Pico has China, and a lot of people are saying big no-no to that. But this is your competitor to the Oculus Quest 2, in case you want one. You've got a Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 chip, a Wi-Fi 6 antenna, optical controllers with embedded tracking sensors, so that's inside-out tracking for you, 3 physical IPD adjustments, 4 wide-angle cameras positioning the headset, and a curved screen clocked at 90 Hertz, so you don't get that 120 Hertz. But this is your competitor to the Quest 2, because looking at the price that we've got here on Twitter, posted by Synthesis Universe, we can see that the Pico Neo 3 is coming in at $389, then at $420, then at $468. I'm guessing those are the different storage sizes. Now, another interesting part is this is not for the Western market, so this is another headset that, even though it is competing with the Oculus Quest 2 pretty much directly with those specs, you can't actually get it. I mean, you probably could if you managed to get your hands on it, but you kind of can't, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's going to be more difficult for you. Apparently, it does support PSVR streaming as well through that Wi-Fi 6 antenna, but Pico Neo did not stop there, because they also released the Pico Neo 3 Pro and the Pico Neo 3 Pro I. So they kind of went in the direction of Vive, where they released the Pro and the Pro I, but it gets slightly more interesting because this is still a standalone headset. So this is your standalone headset with eye tracking, and a lot of people are going to hate eye tracking because of how much you can do with it to track the person, to see what they're looking at, to get more and more information out of them. But according to me, eye tracking is going to be necessary sometime in the future for VR, for human interaction. So kind of see that as you will. A lot of people are going to not go anywhere near any Pro Eye headsets until they're made by a reputable manufacturer that doesn't require you to have an account to pair with the device. But look, it's there, and it comes at more interesting price points because the Pico Neo 3 Pro, and these are enterprise headsets, as you can see it says enterprise only, so once again these headsets are not available to us even more than the other ones. So the Pico Neo 3 Pro comes in at $888, and the Pico Neo 3 Pro Eye comes in at $1,248. Again, a standalone headset with eye tracking is something a lot of people are waiting for, including myself, so this is a very interesting device that we can't get, but I can't wait to see more and more headsets coming out with specs like this. The Pico Neo 3 Pro and the Pico Neo 3 Pro Eye will come with resolutions of 3664 by 1920, and that is a single 5.5-inch display coming in at 90 Hz refresh rate. So it doesn't necessarily have better specs than the Pico Neo 3, but here's an interesting thing. Pico says all of its Neo 3 headsets will support NVIDIA Cloud XR, which lets you wirelessly stream VR content via 5G and Wi-Fi networks. So there's an interesting one for you. They're going the cloud VR route. They are allowing for that, which is really, really cool. I'm honestly quite excited for that to come to more and more headsets. Now, what the Pico Neo 3 Pro and the Pico Neo 3 Pro Eye also have is they support NVIDIA's direct mode, as they are DisplayPort supported and equipped with DisplayPort connectors. So that will allow you for much higher bandwidth and just a much cleaner image than wireless. Now, to kind of move away from the headset situation a little bit, Roblox On Quest makes perfect sense. So a Roblox Quest port could happen. Co-founder and CEO David Baszucki, is that Polish? That kind of looks Polish, so I'm gonna pronounce it like I would in Polish. Baszucki thinks the headset is one of many platforms that make perfect sense for the world-building hit. And yes, it does. Roblox does actually have an Android app, and as much as I personally don't play it, I know a lot of people that do. And so many people in the comments section, and so many people on the Discord really want Roblox VR to happen, just as much as we want Minecraft VR to happen. I think there's an equal amount of people that want both of those to happen. They are like the most wanted games on those headsets right now, and the fact that they're not happening is slightly weird, because they both have Android counterparts, Minecraft Bedrock and Roblox for Android, and I don't know why they're not happening. It could definitely happen, especially since Roblox does actually have some form of a VR platform. Baszucki said as much during Roblox Corporation's end of quarter earnings call, as spotted on Reddit. Asking if Roblox could come to other platforms, he replied that he wants to see it on all platforms. And it does make perfect sense. Okay, moving on from that one, so that's very exciting for any of you there that want that to happen. We've got specs on the PSVR 2, and the PSVR 2 is a device that I am very excited for. The controllers actually seem to be innovative and not look like Quest controllers for once. So we still don't have a product name, but multiple sources tell us Sony shared details with partners. Those include a resolution of 4000 by 2040 pixels, 2000 by 2040 pixels per eye, that is, a lens separation adjustment dial, and gaze tracking, capable of foveated rendering. A motor in the headset can be used by developers to give direct haptic feedback. How insane is that? Haptic feedback on the headset itself, and gaze tracking, meaning eye tracking. Sony previously confirmed it is developing a next-generation VR headset for the PlayStation 5 to release sometime in 2021. This headset is seemingly going to be completely overpowered, with haptics inside the headset and eye tracking inside the headset. How people feel about Sony having access to eye tracking, I guess we're about to find out down in the comment section below. But this headset with that resolution, per eye tracking, and haptic feedback, and then we've got adaptive triggers inside the controllers. We have no price, which is actually interesting because that's going to be a huge point for many people. What is the price? But it seems this might be the next overpowered headset. And as much as it does have a wire, I don't think we've seen a headset with haptic feedback in it yet. And that eye tracking is going to be quite enticing for a lot of people. I wonder, because everyone has been saying for the past few times I mentioned this, that people are going to hack it, they're going to mod it to work on PC. I wonder if people are going to be able to mod it to work with that haptic feedback on PC, considering they haven't been able to do that fully yet with the PlayStation 5 controller, because Sony doesn't directly provide those drivers. So this is something very interesting. I am very excited to see it. And it is finally innovation. It is something that we haven't seen before. It's something I'm very excited for. And I wonder how it's going to work. Now I need to get my hands on a PS5. So let me tell you a little bit more of the specs. We've got IPD adjustment dial, eye tracking capable of foveated rendering, USB Type-C tether to the PlayStation 5, inside-out tracking, and head-mounted haptics. So if that doesn't make it a pretty damn overpowered headset, I don't know what does. I'm happy to see Sony getting in on that virtual reality cake very, very powerfully, strongly. I don't know. However, not all is exciting, because Sony also filed a patent for shadow banning people on the PSVR. So it's actually not something I enjoy seeing, that you can be banned for the gestures that you make. It's kind of like you're being monitored all the time, which kind of, I guess, comes back to that eye tracking fiasco. This is something that I don't enjoy. No. Shadow banning people based on the gestures they make? Absolutely not. So this could allow Sony to track inappropriate actions made by players and ban them based on in-game gestures such as specific movements and proximity to other players, as well as their comments. For each infraction, a player's safety rating increases. Once said player has reached a designated safety threshold, the system automatically shadow bans the offending party. Now, what shadow banning could do for virtual reality is a whole different story of its own that I do not want to see, and some people are going to be absolutely for it. I don't know why you'd be for it, so you can explain that to me down below. This is kind of what people don't like about Horizon. People were saying Facebook Horizon is like, it's constantly being monitored, you're being watched, and if you do something wrong, you get punished for it. I don't think virtual reality needs that. Now, this isn't to say that bad things don't happen in VR. Like, for example, the Echo VR community, I have heard, is supposed to be quite toxic, but I think it should be handled in a different way other than shadow banning. But other people might have completely other thoughts on this, so let me know what you think down below. Okay, next one. Zuckerberg. Oculus Quest 2 Pro could bring face and eye tracking. This is a very exciting one. Again, how people feel about Facebook having access to face and eye tracking is a whole different story, but Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg sat down with CNET for an interview where he speaks about the company's progress on its next generation of VR devices, namely what it could include on the Oculus Quest Pro, which again seems it is now pretty much becoming a reality. We have the Quest Pro confirmed, but we have no specs about it or anything like that, but it's pretty much, it's being called that, and we know it's going to exist. Zuckerberg previously spoke about how Facebook is preparing a Quest 3 and Quest 4, saying in March the teams are devoted to building those headsets and exploring things like improved optics, better compute performance, and creating smaller and lighter devices. Now Zuckerberg confirms that not only is Facebook working on a Quest Pro, but that it could include sensors for both face and eye tracking. That's a first on any Oculus device, although HTC has beaten them to the punch with the Vive Pro Eye and its most recent face tracker add-on. Now, if they added that to the standalone device, again, that would have a lot of people on that face and eye tracking train, because having that in a standalone device would be absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing. Of course, you'd need more computing power for that or better cooling, but imagine that in VR chat. Imagine if VR chat finally supported that, and you could buy an all-in-one device, completely standalone device with face and eye tracking, and just hop into VR chat. No PC needed, no additional dongles, no nothing. Everything is just built into the headset. That is closer to Ready Player One than we have ever been. Again, how much you like that is going to depend on what you think about Facebook and what they're doing, but I just have one additional thing I would like to ask of Oculus. Add additional headset haptics, please. Now that I've heard about it from Sony, I need it in my life. And maybe add something that like changes temperature as well. That might be too much to ask for, but the haptics could happen. We have haptics in phones for a while now. I don't see why adding them to a headset would be a bad idea at all. I think that might just be a good idea, actually. Okay, here we go. The HP Reverb G2 Omnicept Edition is now available in the US. The standard HP Reverb G2 model was announced in 2020 and launched last November, aimed at consumers and available for $599. Towards the end of last year, HP announced the enhanced version of the G2 announced for professional use, the HP Reverb G2 Omnicept Edition. The enhanced headset added sensors to track pupil size, eye movement, heart rate, and facial expressions, thanks to a unit mounted at the bottom of the headset. And now these are being sold in the US, so in case you are completely interested in this or want to go completely overkill, yeah, you now have it. Okay, and here is one last one, kind of speeding through this because I'm looking at the time and this is taking a while. So Facebook still hopes to give developers Quest Passthrough access this year. So we did have that bug, which got fixed in V28, where you could sort of enable Passthrough mode and play your games at the same time. I thought it was really cool, and even though Passthrough mode is still only black and white, this would add a lot of additional things you could do in VR. So Facebook Reality Labs is still aiming to let Oculus Quest developers work with the headset's pass-through camera system at some point this year. So that is something exciting to wait for, and it was confirmed in an Instagram AMA with Facebook Reality Labs VP Andrew Bosworth. When the question was asked, Bosworth replied that he didn't have a firm date for the feature just yet, but he did say they were working on it. So that is something exciting to look forward to. If you have an Oculus Quest, we could be looking at seeing a pass-through mode sometime before the end of this year. Now, it does seem like the Oculus Quest 2 is currently staying as the only standalone headset for consumers that has no match to it just yet. Unless we see something further on this year, this is the current king of standalones, and that's that. So today was quite a bit of a longer video for you guys. We had quite a bit to speed through today because of the live streams we have done for the past few days, and because this week is extremely busy for me, and I don't necessarily like taking breaks, so I kind of want to get as much info out to you as possible without making multiple videos about the topics. You have chapters so you can skip through the part that interests you, which is really good. And yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you all have a fantastic day or night, wherever you are. And if you guys liked the video, please leave a like. If you guys disliked it, I guess this button works too, but please tell me why down in the comment section below. If you guys would like to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, we've got sick merch down below that doesn't put a huge ad on your body, and mugs that boost your FPS by 300%. If you guys are not yet part of the community, make sure to join that down below. We have a Discord down below, we have a Reddit down below, where I want to see you posting your spice memes. And if you guys want to be notified of future content coming up on the channel daily, make sure to smack that subscribe button if you're for heading my bell and see you in the next video. Peace.